Ever wondered what your flight attendants are really talking about behind the galley curtain?
Welcome to Two Guys on a Plane, your go-to podcast for an insider look at flight attendant life.
We're your hosts, Rich and Drew, and we're here to tell you what really goes on at 35,000 feet.
So sit back, relax, we're ready for takeoff. Hi friends, welcome back to Two Guys on a Plane. Today is a very special day for us. Well, very special in many ways. One, it's our release day, and we are very excited to be leaving the studio here, and we're going to head to our release party, and we are so excited for all of you to see what we've been working on. And because it's our release party, we have so many friends in town. One of our very good friends, Heather, is in the studio with us today, and we are very excited to have a conversation with her. A little story about Heather. She is originally from Knoxville. She was born and raised in Knoxville and now resides in Chicago. Heather and I actually started at our first airline together. So welcome, Heather. We are so excited to have you here.
Welcome, Heather. Welcome to Two Guys on a Plane.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. Let me start off by saying how proud I am of you guys. You're doing it. Look at you guys.
We're doing the damn thing.
You're doing the damn thing.
So, Heather, before we get into your story and kind of everything going on with you these days, how was your flight in?
Flight in was really good. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, Chicago's not too bad of a flight to Philly, right?
It wasn't. There was actually a seat open.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you non-rev?
I did.
Oh,
of course.
nice.
Of course. I non-rev everywhere.
See, we're the same way. People are like, buy tickets, and I'm like, no.
I
just won't go.
I will get creative. I will go wherever I need to.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you use Staff Traveler?
What's Staff Traveler? I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Staff Traveler
No.
is? Oh my God, this is amazing. So
Tell me
Staff
more.
Traveler is like your life preserver when it comes to non-rev travel. It is an app that you download. It's completely free. You can pay for credits if you want, but it is completely free. So basically, it's an app where you search city pairings and wherever you're trying to go. You can do connections, you can do all that sort of stuff. And you search, it populates all the flight information for everywhere that you're trying to go, all the airlines, all the flights, and you can select requests for which flight you want to look at loads for. So even if it's not your airline, you can look at loads for whatever airlines. You know how they have those like Facebook groups and it's like you're waiting forever for somebody to get back to you?
Oh, yeah.
This is all like kind of already done for you. Sometimes it takes a minute for them to get back to you, but you put in requests, it gives you seats, how many are in economy, how many are in first class, all this stuff. And then it's such a game changer because like when you're panicked and you're, especially like Chicago, Philly, you've got so many airlines that do that route. So it's like, okay, I can't get on this airline. Let me run over to this airline, but I don't even know if they have seats. Should I even run over to this terminal? Like, let me check Staff Traveler. So it's a game changer. And you can put in loads for your own airline. Like people put in requests in whatever airline you work for.
Yeah.
You can go in and they'll put in requests and you can answer them and earn credits that way.
That's
So,
my favorite part of this
yeah.
app. Like I know it
that's
takes
really cool.
credits to like get loads, but you earn the credits by like answering. So there is an incentive for people to answer your, unlike Facebook, like
It's
with
such a magic.
Staff Traveler,
Yeah.
there's an incentive for people to answer you quickly because they get credits to get loads for themselves.
Well, that's exciting. Now I'm going to be downloading that app
Yes, please
so that I
do.
can look, so I can have all the knowledge and where I'm
Yes.
going.
We
That's
love
really
Staff
cool.
Traveler, and they sponsor our show, and they've been so good to us. And this
So
podcast
good.
literally couldn't happen without them. So we are so grateful for them. And you all should download Staff Traveler as well. Go to Two Guys on a. Nope, that's actually not the website at all. That's our website. Go to stafftraveler.com/2guys, and you can download the app for yourself and let us know how amazing it is. We'd love to hear your feedback about it as well. So
Awesome.
So again, thank you, Heather, for being here with us today. We really
seriously,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for traveling in to come hang out with us tonight. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I know that I mentioned in your intro that we started flying at the same time, but tell us a little bit about what drew you to aviation.
Oh, well, so I was all of 19, which is hard to believe because I look 19 now. I'm
You do.
22. I was going to school and college. Well, I was taking 2 classes and really skipping most of it just because I was like, I don't want to go. And I remember I was having lunch with my dad, and he said, Heather, I found this newspaper ad. Hateful. Yes, I answered a newspaper ad.
You don't have to
Rich.
age yourself. We don't. I did it already. You don't have to talk about the newspaper.
Heather, it feels like you're calling back an earlier episode of our show where I made fun of someone in this room for having
We
taken
don't
out a
have to
newspaper
talk about
ad.
the newspaper part of all of this.
Well, I had to bring it up because I did too. So, and he said, if you're not going to go to school, then you need to get you a job with benefits. And I'm 19. I don't
fair.
know what benefits
Right.
are. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And so you heard flight benefits and thought those are the only benefits that I need.
Well, I did. I just said, okay. Well, my dad is, he's going to kill me if I tell him I'm not going to school.
He wouldn't have killed her.
He wouldn't. No, he wouldn't have. But he just had this very, very dark stare. And so I went to an open house in Knoxville, read an announcement, and made it all the way through the rounds. And they said, well, what airport do you want to fly out of? And I said, well, this one. She said, well, we can't fly you out here. The nearest one is Atlanta. And I said, okay, I've never flown before, because my first time on an airplane was.
I need you to roll it back. Say it one more
What?
time for everybody.
Okay, so my first time on an airplane
Is this real life?
was my dad driving me to Atlanta and getting on that airplane going to flight attendant training. And I thought, well, I better get used to this. So little fearless Heather, 19-year-old, I really thank her for that, because it's led me to, being in the industry for almost 20 years
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
meeting awesome people. So
Were you little fearless, Heather? Were you afraid of flying when you first got on that plane, or were you like, let's do it?
I wasn't scared at all. I just got on that airplane. I thought,
I love
oh, well,
that.
this will be cool. It's,
Throw caution to the wind. Let's live my life.
yeah, I can ride. I was like, well, I can ride on the plane. I can't read in a car, so I wonder if I can read on this airplane. It makes me sick. Will I be able to read? But I was chatting the whole time with the people sitting next to me.
Oh my
so
God, that's so funny. I love that.
yeah.
So you're no longer a flight attendant. You have transitioned. You're now a recruiter.
I am, yeah.
How long did you fly?
So flew for about 12 and a half years.
Nice.
And then been in recruiting for about 7 now. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, that's why we have Heather here today. We are going to talk about interview tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many ways to get into the aviation world, and the interview process is such a wild journey and varies so much for people. So we figured we'd bring in our little expert here. I know Heather doesn't love that word when I use it because she's like, no, don't hold me accountable. But
Yeah. I am not
in
an
this room,
expert.
she is the biggest expert in airline recruiting
Correct.
stuff.
Because as I told you a few weeks ago, I answered a newspaper ad and was basically like, if you follow all of these steps, you definitely have a job. So
Yeah.
I can't even attempt to tell you how to interview these days.
Yeah. But now you're on the other side of the table.
Now I'm on the other side of the
So what
table.
made you go from flight attendant to recruiting?
Well,
what
it
made
was
you want to do that?
It was kind of a fate situation. The airline that I was working for, it was a regional at the time, not the regional that we met at, but they were overstaffed, and I was looking for something else. Like, what can I do? Admin looked on our website, and they were looking for recruiters, and they said we would like flight attendants, because at the time I was hiring pilots, and they said, well, flight attendants know the schedule, the personality. And so I thought, well, they can only tell me no. Fearless Heather again. And so I interviewed and started and got into recruiting that way. Learned a lot, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Do you think your experience as a flight attendant has helped or hindered you in this new role?
I think it's helped me a lot, because what I would say is that even as a flight attendant, just flying around, you learn so much about the industry. And I learned a lot about different airlines, different, ways of the business, what to look for, hearing people talk that weren't flight attendants, like pilots or gate agents or
Right.
anything like that, just talk and learning that way. I feel like my experience as a flight attendant did help me, and my aviation experience too with hiring. So it's helpful to be able to, one, relate to the people on the other side of the table. I mean, again, I'm not, at the time when I was a recruiter for pilots, I wasn't a pilot, but being able to have that knowledge and be able to go, oh, I know where you worked. Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
enjoy
really
it.
do. I'm glad that you were able to take your experience as a flight attendant and turn it that way.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy.
I think with being a flight attendant, something that I do want to acknowledge is that we, even flight attendants, you have to work with very limited resources, and there's a lot of stuff that you kind of figure out.
So true.
Yeah.
But as a flight attendant, you really learn a lot about being resourceful and
Yeah.
figuring things out yourself. So
Yeah, because I don't think people realize how many hats we actually wear.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's so true.
I mean, I know that we try to limit our job, but realistically, we wear all the hats all the time.
Well, and even with all those hats, like we have so many different roles there that also that there's so many facets to each of those roles
Yeah.
too. It's like people don't realize, okay, yes, we're trained in X, Y, and Z, but then there's so many scenarios and situations that arise outside of that scope,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, I have to think fast. So like you need
Exactly.
someone
Right.
who is innovative and creative
because you're up there,
with thinking.
you don't have technology per
Right.
se. Oh, I mean,
We do
way
a
back in the
little.
day
Yeah.
when we were answering newspaper ads to get
when we,
these jobs.
when we were on dial-up filling out
Right.
the application.
It's not like we had the resources that we have now, but I mean, you've got somebody who's missing their connection because they're trying to get to a funeral. And
Right.
so you're trying to play the role of a customer service agent to help someone figure out how they might fix the situation before they get down, so they're knowledgeable of what's going on. There's just so many hats that you're actually wearing with like very, very limited resources. You're 100% correct.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I've had training to do what I do.
Right.
I didn't just figure it out. Nobody was like, here you go, learn this system. But just having the knowledge just around, being able to actually have that before going into it is really kind of cool.
Yeah. So what's one thing, I mean, obviously you're probably looking for certain personality types when it comes to, hiring agents, hiring pilots, hiring ground people. And then when it comes to hiring flight attendants, like what's one thing specifically that you're looking for when you're looking at flight attendants, and like what makes you go, this person's got it. This person's gonna do it well.
Well, I think being yourself is super important in any role that in this can go out to not the aviation industry. I think being yourself is important because, people who are on the other side of the table, if they're so nervous, it's hard to get their authentic self and and get a good, read from them. I remember one time I was interviewing and the person on the other side of the table, I was so nervous that my teeth were chattering. And at that time I didn't know, but they were just like smiling at me. And I thought, and they did nothing to try and calm me down. And I thought, if I'm ever in that position, I want to make sure that I'm keeping the person comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's a lot of people, especially when you go to, if it's your dream to be a flight attendant, your dream job, wherever, there's a lot of pressure. You're like, I can't mess this up.
That's so true.
And so don't worry if you mess it up. We're not looking for a perfect person. We're not looking for perfection. We just want you to be yourself. Of course, you have to be able to have that customer service in any role, really, in aviation, I think. Of course, people who, like we just talked about, those people that can they make those quick decisions with safety as the top priority. Because, we said, we're flight attendants. People only see the Diet Coke pouring and the, telling you not that you can't put your bag there.
Yep.
But really, it's safety that is our number one thing. So can they do this, but also act in a safe manner?
Right. I never really thought about it from your perspective. I've personally never done any recruiting, but I really love what you said about it's not necessarily just what we're looking for in these people. It's like that we as recruiters need to be like a supportive, safe space for this person to feel like they can be themselves.
Yeah.
Because like I think back on my interviews, and I did a couple different airline interviews, and I remember one of them, this guy, it just made me feel so small. Like the way he spoke to me, I was like, I hate every minute of this. I want to get out. And then the interviewer actually got hired. The person interviewing me made me feel so comfortable and like welcome. And I felt like at home there in that interview. So I just felt like we could have a candid conversation about, the job and about questions and things like that. So I never thought about that, but that's awesome that you are able to like do that for people. Cause I think, people get nervous during interviews all the time and it's like so normal. And you think, oh, that's going to shoot me down. Like that's going to make me not get this job. But, people going into it, it's nerve wracking.
It is, especially, the flight attendant interviews, if you're looking to get in the industry or do interviews. I know everybody's reading everything on the internet and everything on the internet
It's
is
all
like
out there.
from the moment you walk in the door or even riding the shuttle over, everybody is watching. And so that does give a lot of fear to people.
Yeah.
And I would just say, if you get in that interview room and you are nervous, it's okay to say, hey, I'm just going to take a sip of this water just for a moment and answer that question for you. So it's okay to
Right.
like gather yourself, but we know that you're nervous. We get it. We know because we've been on the other side of the table at some
Right.
point, even if they've recruiters not been a flight attendant before, they've had to interview. So, and most of us on the other side, myself included, can be kind of a hot mess. So,
Relatable.
yeah,
Right.
I'm like, I like cheese. That's my fun fact. You know what I mean?
I mean, loving cheese is definitely a great fun fact.
Yes, it is. It
Wait,
is sharp
can
cheddar.
can you answer that question for us, though? Are they really watching you on the shuttle? Are they watching you on your flight to your interview? Is that all true?
Well, you know,
Do you know? Or is
For-
this like a confidential file situation?
for me, I'm in the interview room, so I'm
Okay.
the one.
You don't know about the other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And again, I hire for more than just flight attendants, but I've been in the interview room, so I'm separate from the big thing. I just go
Okay.
and get
So what
the
I hear
candidates.
Heather saying is assume you're being
Yeah.
watched, but don't act like you're being watched.
Pro tip right there. I was like, wait, let's get to the bottom of this. I need the truth.
Again, I'll just say, just be yourself, but be
Yeah.
professional, just like any place that you would go into. You
All
know,
right. So hot tip number 1, be yourself.
be yourself.
Any other hot tips?
Be yourself. Especially if you're coming to an interview and it's going to be a long day, put some snacks in your bag. Bring a water.
Gotta be
but yeah,
prepared.
just be prepared. Have extra copies of resumes and cover letters and be organized. You know what I mean? Like, look,
I did that.
yeah.
Rich did that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had a resume. I probably like wrote it on Word or something. I didn't know. I was just like, I didn't have a 10-year background. I
I
had
literally
the
made
same
this
thing.
comment the other day.
Did you really?
Yes. We were talking about how we became flight attendants, and this was part of it because we got to the interview room, right? They put an application in front of you and you're trying to fill it out. And then they want a 10-year background history, work history, which I probably didn't have. But
I didn't.
I didn't have like screenshots or Google or addresses
No.
of things. Like I'm over here like stressing that this, instead of putting like the correct address, like I transpose something for the address of the company that I worked for.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I don't know the fax number. I think I was on my
'Cause
aunt's
they
PC,
stress that
just like
they
Word.
stress
Not
that
the fax
so
number.
much. Yes, no,
tip,
they
tap,
really
tapping
did.
away.
They stress so much your work history and your criminal record that I was like, oh my god, I need to put down every speeding ticket that I've ever gotten.
I think I
and I was
did.
like, and so in 1996, I got this one speeding ticket. I wasn't driving then. Just in
I was
case
like,
you're
wait,
doing math
you
over
were
there.
no, yeah, you didn't. No, we weren't driving in 1996. Yeah, be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be
pack
yourself,
snacks,
be organized.
Be
Be organized.
organized. Have extras.
Have extras, and my big one. It doesn't matter if it's aviation related or not, but wherever you're going to interview, research the company.
Oh, yeah.
Please do
For
that.
sure.
People don't realize how
Research.
crucial that is.
It is because you need to figure out what company or what area that you really feel like you can represent. Do you want to go in there? If you look at their values, find out what their culture is like. Is that a place that you could put a uniform on and represent? Like, is that,
Yeah.
do you feel like you could do that?
Yeah.
Also, what's important to you? Is a good corporate social responsibility important to you? Are they doing the things that you want?
Right.
Things like that. So I think that also you got to find out why. Why do you want to work for that company? Because they're going to ask, and why do you want to do that job?
And I'm sure they want specifics.
They-
You want specifics.
Yeah,
It sounds like because you pay well is not a good enough answer.
No. Well, I found it online. That is
That's
fair.
great.
Or
You and everyone else. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I need a job.
Right?
We
Cool.
yep.
Yep.
I guess
Understand.
times
People
have
in this
changed
line
because
are.
when I went into mine, because you put an ad in the newspaper was enough reason
Yeah.
for why I wanted to be
My dad just clipped it out and handed it to me. I have it
So here it is.
in a baggie because I didn't have a laminator. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that, and then of course, this being, flight attendant centric, I would say that if you have the desire to be a flight attendant, they will ask you, why would you like to be a flight attendant? So if you could formulate your answer besides loving people and traveling,
Ugh. I love people
Because
and I love to travel.
everybody loves people. I
we
can't
do.
count the many times people have told me they love people. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
Super.
In
I
my
thought
second
people-
interview, I got asked that question, and I did not say that I love people. I did say that I love to travel, though.
I mean, honestly, that's why we're all here.
I mean, it's true, but
we're all
like,
here for that.
That's been such a cliche in the industry
Yeah.
for so long. I really thought people would have given up
Yeah.
on saying that by now.
I
but they
truly
don't.
answered, I tolerate people because they are a necessity for me to do my job, and I love to travel. And
Going
the
above
whole
and beyond
room
over there,
giggled at
Andrew.
me,
Going
so-
above and beyond,
Yeah.
right?
I think, and y'all know me, I probably made a little jokey joke, and I went, I love people and I like to travel. And then I said, no, really, and then gave them my answer. So, yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, starting that off as a joke is obviously a cute way to do it, but some of these people are serious, and it's like every airline is so different too. Like you can't just go in with generic canned answers. You really do need to know about the company. Like we joke as flight attendants around the world, we all do the same thing, but when you start breaking it down like schedules, destinations, service procedures, even emergency procedures, commands, like all these things are different. So it's like you really got to know, is this the place you want to be?
Yeah.
Well, and
It
for
is.
1 to 5 hours a day, or even more if you're flying long haul flights, but you figure you're putting on a uniform and you are going to be the representative for that company.
Absolutely.
Do you align with that company? And can you sell that brand? Because you are now the poster child for,
Yeah,
that,
you're selling
for that
the brand.
company.
Yeah. You're
Then
representing them.
sometimes your airline merges with another airline and you don't have a choice in that anymore. I'm just saying.
And you keep trying to bring your old airline into the new airline.
So you mentioned all of these kind of hot tips and the do's of the interview. What are some things that have stood out to you, or interviews that you've had with like red flags where you immediately are like, oh, this person's a no, like don't do this in an interview?
Well, I think, for me, I'm assessing a lot of things. You're looking at one, customer service experience. You're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
do they have the ability to make quick decisions like we were talking about? Can I trust them to make a quick decision when it really matters? And I think we know what we're talking about. So would I put my family on an airplane with them as well? But I will be honest, sometimes, people will interview several times for the position. And I do believe timing is a thing. So if you don't get it the first time, keep at it, keep going, learn from your interview, find out what you need. I would say, I don't really have a whole lot of red flags. It's just dependent upon the candidate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, making sure that you can do the job and know why you want to do it is really
Here
the
we
most
are wanting
important.
the hot Gus. And
I
she
know,
is not
right?
going to give it to us.
She's so PC.
Well, I will say that the one answer for me, I said, we asked, why would you like to be? And she said, I want to marry a pilot. And I thought, well. And afterwards I said,
girl, go home.
I said, I really appreciate her honesty.
Yeah.
She was super honest about it. I thought, if you move forward, I hope.
Did she get the job?
I'm gonna.
Okay, you can decline.
Not
You
gonna.
can politely decline.
I'm gonna politely decline
did
that.
not go
But
Gosh, I hope she got her pilot.
Yeah, maybe she found him on Tinder or something. You never know.
she could. Yeah.
Any other funny interview stories that you can share with us?
I don't know, funny, but the ones that are probably my favorite. I had someone I hired, and this was years ago, and they were so excited and grateful because it was their dream, and they finally
Aw.
made it. They finally made it. And they hugged me and my interview partner, and they cried, and they said, thank you so much. I never thought that I was going to get to do what I do, because they had a different backstory, and that was probably my favorite. So yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when people cry in front of me, I won't tell you. I'm a sympathy crier. We'll cry with you. So,
Same.
I'm a crier.
yeah.
We love crying.
You
We
started
cry through it all.
boo-hooing, and Heather is going to boo-hoo with you.
I'm a crier, so I understand.
Yeah.
I love that story. My second time around, I'd been escorted out of so many rooms that I got put in an elevator with a recruiter at the end of the day. And I was being ridden down the elevator, and I just broke down in the elevator, and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm so used to this. I said, it was so nice to meet you. Thank you for the day.
Yeah.
I was so ready to be escorted out. And the next thing I know, I'm being taken into an HR room, and I was like bawling. And my parents get on a flight with him like 6 months later or a year later or whatever because they're on their travel benefits. And he was like, oh, my God, I know your son. He like cried like a baby at his interview. And my mom was like, what? And he was like, no, in like the best way. Like you could tell he's been trying for this for so long. But, you know, as a regional flight attendant, like it's really hard to like transition out of that. And I had been trying for so long that by the time I got the job that I have, I like literally put me in an elevator and I was like bawling because I knew I was done. I knew that was how it ended.
Oh yeah, you really
right?
are just like, well,
right?
I guess this ain't happening
right?
for me. They don't like
Correct.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out they love me.
But that's my thing. Keep going.
Right.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to.
You have to.
It really. I mean, truthfully, it is a timing issue just as much as it is an experience issue.
Just and you know, I often tell myself this just about with anything is what is for you will not pass you by. Just again, but keep at it. And what is for you will not pass you by.
Sage advice.
Thank
It
you.
really is.
It really, I mean, it's so universal. Like it just works for everything. I've always believed in that. Like you really just have to lean into whatever the universe sends your way. Like
Absolutely.
if something's meant to be, it's gonna happen. And I know it's cliche, but it's the damn truth.
It's not because we're universe
this
people.
way.
That's
Yeah.
how we live our lives.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really true.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other hot goss or tips you want to share with us?
I think that's it for now.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you have any more that you want me to share.
I
No,
think that's
we
it. Yeah.
covered
Don't.
most of the major interview related questions.
Yeah.
But wait, before we let you go, Heather, I want to know how you all met. Because did you guys train together?
We did.
Yes.
You did train together.
did.
Back when you were
Yeah.
little babies, little
We
baby
did.
newbies.
We were little babies.
Yeah. You were
How'd you guys meet?
19. I was 20. Well, we
I was God love
met in introductions for training. We got in new hire class together. We had been flown from our respective cities. I don't know. I don't remember the exact moment that we met, but I can
do.
tell you
Oh, Heather does.
like without a shadow of a doubt, the moment I knew I was going to love Heather for the rest of my life.
Okay.
So when did we meet, Heather?
Okay, so I remember it was after, like, you know, they bring us in, we're in our blues and whites, and we do the whole day. And then I remember we were all walking, I think we were walking to the store, and you had on a pink polo, like an Izod polo.
Oh, for sure.
With the collar popped up.
There was
Oh,
probably two
God.
polos with both the collars popped up, if I know
I
me
think
well
there was a
enough.
blue one underneath.
Was that when he had the spiky hair?
Yes.
Oh, God,
yeah.
I've seen
So-
pictures of that.
It
So
was
you-
probably red with some blonde in it.
No,
for
no,
sure.
no,
it
it wasn't.
yet.
So it was dark, but you had like the frosted tip,
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I can visualize it because I've
And-
seen the pictures.
and I had a pink
I
flip
thought I
phone.
looked like Justin Timberlake. I looked like another Backstreet Boy. It wasn't.
But and you had, I think, a red flip phone, and I had a pink flip phone, and I think my phone rang, and it was an '80s ringtone.
Sure was.
Because back in the day, you could everybody had their
Shows your
rings
song.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it was "Sledgehammer" by Peter Gabriel, which is.
For you, it was. 100%.
No, for my phone.
But if you ring my phone now, that's still my ringtone.
Oh yeah, if you ring my phone now, if my phone makes any noise, it's going right out the window. Do not make a sound.
Yeah, I don't have it on it
Yeah.
like that anymore. But like if I were to need it, but and we just kind of like started talking about music and '80s music.
Yeah.
And then I think we locked arms, and that was it.
And we were friends.
We were friends from
Yes.
there,
Yes.
and we've been friends since.
But when we started training, they put us in a hotel room because, you know, the companies run multiple classes at a time.
Right.
Most of them have some sort of dorm situation. The dorm was full. So we got put in a hotel room and we were hanging out in a boardroom. About a week into training, we got transitioned to the dorm rooms.
Okay.
We did.
My sweet, sweet Southern friend, Heather, was appalled by the living
dorms.
conditions.
Well, I don't blame her. Nobody wants to live in
No.
a dorm.
So we didn't have Uber at the time, so she took a taxi cab to the nearest Walmart where
I did.
she got bleach and all of the cleaning supplies. She spent her entire per diem check from training on cleaning supplies to come clean her room from top to bottom.
Wow.
It took everything in me to keep Heather from purchasing, not renting, purchasing the carpet cleaner to come.
I was going to that store. You know how they have the big shampooer out front?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've got to get that. And my roommate, bless her, I took all the bed stuff off, and I was like, don't sit on that bed, because my grandmother was always taught me, like, you know, to clean. And if the your socks are black with dirt, you know, that's an unclean place. And my socks were black with dirt. And I was like, you're not. I'm washing everything. I washed all the bed stuff. I Cloroxed all the dishes.
I'm 100% certain she moved in new mattresses. I can't.
I didn't.
I can't remember for certain, but I'm pretty sure I saw her walking by the pool with a mattress.
I mean, I would have if I had the money. But they also had these like kind of creepy looking art pieces of little kids like above our beds, and I'd take them down, and then the housekeeping would come up and put them back up, and I was like, these kids are haunting me.
Hotel artwork is terrifying anyway. Some of it's real weird.
I thought those little boys.
Heather and her roommate's brilliance, though, helped me pass training, because you know when you have to like place the emergency equipment,
right?
In, like your test or whatever, you have to like. You know, you get those airplane diagrams where you have to like write in where everything belongs. I walk into their room right before this test, and there's a giant pictograph of an airplane. Like they just put the whole thing on the plane, like on the wall, instead of this artwork. They like put up an airplane so they could just lay in bed and stare at it and be like, that's where that goes, and that's where that goes, and that's where that goes. And
Pro tip right there.
Made a big one, yeah.
Oh, pro tip. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. And every time we went into their rooms, that's what we did. We like sat in their room and we're like, and this is where this is, and where's that? And
we were always studying, though.
Always. I mean, you are in training.
Yeah, but we would just be like in the car, be like, okay, tell us this briefing, and we would do it.
Right.
But do you remember, I have to bring this up, how when they were talking about pre-flighting, how we all thought, I don't know how we're going to get this pre-flight done in this like 15 minutes. This is going to take me 4 hours. We're going to be delayed because I'll be back here
Okay,
checking
Mom, just
everything.
so you know, pre-flights is where we like run through the airplane and check all the equipment before we're safe to fly. It's like a safety check that we do. And in training, they're like telling you all the things you have to look at all the equipment. And you're like, I'm never going to get it done in 5 minutes. Like, I can't do it.
Because you're reading your manual like, but I've got to jiggle
time,
the thingy.
You know, first couple times, sure.
And is the gauge is it in the red? Is that enough PSI? Oh no.
Funny.
But then it gets easy.
Did your hotel bleach situation, did that ease up as you started flying and staying in some hotels that were maybe questionable? Or were you kind of OCD about cleaning those hotel rooms when you started flying?
So that was really my big dose there of anxiety. But once we started staying at different places, it got better.
Okay.
Now, of course.
So it was really just that bad of a place.
It was really just, you know. I wouldn't say it was terrible or bad, but I had only been at home in my
that's fair.
in my grandparents' house where
if bleach was involved, it had to be pretty terrible.
I had just knew what my grandmother would have
I'm
done.
sure it's not as bad, but I have no doubt that Heather has a pack of Clorox wipes in her bag right now to like wipe a toilet when she gets to a hotel.
Why you got to call me out?
Old habits die hard.
They sure do.
Old habits die hard.
No, I love her for it. It's one of my favorite memories. I've never. It's with the day that I fell in love with Heather.
Well, Heather, we want to play a game with you that we're going to start playing with all of our guests. And since you're our first official guest on our podcast, we want to play a little game with you. Okay. So we're going to do a quick...
Calling it cross-check.
We're calling it cross-checked, and it's a lightning round of just fun questions to kind of ask you. Okay. So
don't put a lot of thought into it. Just scream the first thing that pops into your head.
Exactly.
Okay. And I am ready, Steve.
All right. I will go first. Window or aisle?
Aisle.
Favorite hotel chain on layovers?
Ooh, Hilton.
Most underrated layover city?
I've had a good time in like Des Moines, but
I
also
knew it. I knew she was going to say it.
No, there, but I feel like, you know, I don't want to take that answer.
I love it.
That one, and I would say, where's another place that I've had a good time at? There's like Manchester, New Hampshire one time. I had a good time there. There was like a really good restaurant that we had a great time at. Yeah.
Airport you dread flying through, like connecting in.
Oh, Lord. Sometimes anywhere in the Northeast after 3 o'clock.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not lying.
You're not wrong there. Go to airport meal or snack?
Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to say brand name, but Starbucks. And then snack, I like to get like grapes if they've got fresh fruit.
Okay.
Healthy.
So not beef jerky.
No. Oh, no. It's smelly when you open it on the plane.
I'm aware.
Bingo.
Yeah, right. Favorite aircraft type?
You know, my baby was the Embraer 145. My
I knew
little
it
lawn
was.
dart.
Your little
I love
lawn dart.
her. But I can't fall asleep
She's
on
a
a
cutie.
turboprop, though. That's the only plane I can fall asleep on is a turboprop. Yeah.
Lulls you to sleep.
It does.
Favorite song on your travel playlist right now?
Right now,
What are we listening to?
y'all are gonna laugh at me. Probably "Grills" by Nelly right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been bumping.
All right.
I like it.
I
I'm
don't-
into it.
If I'm bebopping through the airport, you're probably thinking, "Oh, look at her! She's listening to like
No, it's
poppy
Nelly.
stuff." It's either that or corn lately.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're painting a picture here.
Right.
I'm very
this
eclectic.
This is why we love Heather. Passenger behavior that instantly gives you the ick.
Oh gosh, if the flight attendant comes around and asks somebody, "Okay, would you mind putting your bag or do this?" and someone argues. It, like that happened today, and it took everything in me to be like, you're not in charge here. Put your knitting underneath the seat for 15 minutes. You're not gonna die. You're not
Yeah.
gonna die if you don't have that
But
out.
you may actually cause someone else to. That's the part that I don't understand. Like, why are you arguing with us? We don't like telling you.
Yeah.
Sorry, your answer is going to cause a rant. Go.
So much for lightning round. Leave it to us to fail miserably at that. We should start a podcast.
You should.
What's one item that is always in your carry-on?
Always in my carry-on is gonna be this is so random, Ziploc baggies. You just never know when you need them,
Oh,
because like you get a good breakfast and
Yeah.
you're gonna be gone for the day. I'm gonna get some mayonnaise packets and some
Yeah.
of them hard-boiled eggs.
I was
Or
flying with somebody the other day who made fun of my item. It's tinfoil for the same reason.
I love
I keep
that
little
too.
sures of tinfoil in my bag.
smart.
Because you
It's
can
just smart
cover
travel.
your coffee or whatever. yeah.
Correct. Last question. What's your dream destination that you would love to travel to but haven't yet?
So I would really, 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 really want to go to Greece. I want to go to Greece so bad.
Highly
Love it.
recommend it.
I just everything that I've ever seen about it, just the colors of the sea,
Absolutely.
the beautiful architecture. Take me there now, honestly.
It is as magical in person, if not more, than the photos, honestly.
I would
It really
imagine
is
it
just that.
I might
yeah.
just
Yeah.
Absolutely.
live there, send
And
for my
the
cat.
food. Rich and I travel for food. The food. It's the colors, the sea, the
Oh.
people, but the food. You have to go to Greece.
Oh, I will.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Done. Let's go now.
Well, Heather, we thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you for sharing your experience and advice. We appreciate you so much, particularly for flying all the way here today just to hang out with us this evening.
I know. It means the world to have you. Thanks for coming on our show.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'll be using Staff Traveler now from now on.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in this time. We really appreciate you guys being here. And we want to give a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers. If you haven't joined us yet, go to patreon.com/2guysonAplane to support our show and join an amazing community of people. We've got tons of behind the scenes footage, extra bonus clips and content. We've got exclusive merch, early access to new episodes, and yes, even virtual happy hours with yours truly.
Woo-hoo.
Come hang out with us and join the community. And thank you so much for supporting our show. We could not do this without you. If you like today's episode, go ahead and share it with a friend or leave a review. And we will see you next time.
Join us for more humor, heart, and stories from our beverage cart.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode was brought to you by Staff Traveler, the #1 non-rev app. If you travel on standby tickets and are looking to make your journey easy and stress-free, check out the Staff Traveler app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Visit stafftraveler.com/2guys to learn more and sign up.
An Ironic Media production. Visit us at ironickmedia.com.